So now if you look at the allegations that Rani Kapur has made, he's also an advocate at the High Court. So Mr. Madan, thank you for speaking with us. If you look at the allegations they've made, they're some which border on criminal. She's talking about coercion, she's talking about being misguided, coerced into signing important documents, etc. How are you looking at this going forward?
Well, you need to look at it from two perspectives. One is the issue of succession and one is the issue of how the company, is run. We would also, I would presume that, she would also have shareholding in the company.
Yes.
And perhaps being a majority or a minor shareholder, you have certain rights. You have certain rights veto when to exercise your, rights, etc. And for the benefit of our viewers, let me also explain, something which is very basic. A company is always run through its board. Okay, and the board takes its, important decisions when convening their board meetings, their, annual general meetings, etc. Now, there are certain things in which, for example, if you wish to make any major changes, you need to have, resolution passed in these meetings. So, yes, if someone wants to exercise his right, if someone wants to, or if someone is alleging that there is something, wrong which is going on, perhaps either he or she, being a shareholder, can make an objection to the conduct of the AGM or the board meetings, etc. Because tomorrow, if there are decisions which are passed during those meetings, then ultimately we will need to go to the court and seek your remedies to challenge those decisions. So perhaps what appears from the media report is that she is taking preemptive steps, because she is alleging that there could be some illegality that would take place. There could substantial decision that may be taken by the board during the AGM, and that's the reason why you have a situation like this, wherein she is basically questioning the AGM itself, and she's seeking a postponement of the AGM.
Right. Mr. Madan, this is Vishwanath Nair joining in. I just wanted to ask you, I was looking at the resolutions that are part of this AGM. So apart from the appointment of Priya Sachdev Kapur, who's the wife of late Sunjay Kapur, of course, apart from that, there's also a resolution that talks about amending the Memorandum of Association. They're inserting two specific clauses which dictate what the company will do in terms of its business. And there's mention of military hardware. There's also mention of electronics and digital calculators. I'm just trying to understand if you were to alter the Memorandum of Association, does the board need any specific powers apart from the shareholders' approval in this case?
See, you will have to go back and check the all the provisions there. I would not make any comments at this point in time, because the kind of resolution, there are certain resolutions which can only be passed with a minimum number of shareholders being there for the purposes of voting. So I have not seen those resolutions that have been circulated, and therefore I would like to reserve my comments insofar as this is concerned. But nevertheless, one thing is clear. Because, you have reports like this wherein she has admittedly challenged and raised questions and made allegations in so far as the conduct of the AGM is concerned, it appears that, there are substantial changes that they are likely to do. And, she is not very keen, in favor of those changes.
Understood. I just want to ask you one more question. If you were to bring in the shareholding structure of the company, now of course Rani Kapur specifically does not hold that many shares, but there are other members of the Kapur family who are part of the promoter group, and they hold about 28% of the shares. Now, typically for AGM resolutions to be passed, I think the barrier is 75% of shareholder nods before something can be passed. Right. So at 28%, anyway, if the family wishes to, it can block a resolution as such.
You're absolutely right. I mean, if there are majority of shareholders who vote in favor of a particular resolution, then technically the board will have to go with the amendments or the resolution that are passed. But having said that, in fact, the minority shareholders do also have some rights. I mean, you can't take decisions which are which prejudice the rights of the minorities. It is one thing to say that, you have passed a resolution by the majority. But then again, if there are some legal rights which severely gets impinged, or, if there are some, powers made in Article proceedings on or memorandum of association, the minority shareholder can also seek their redressal by filing appropriate petitions in the court of law.
All right, thank you so much, Kapil Madan. We've got quite a few legal voices there coming in. I think the long and short of it is that Rani Kapur, even if all her claims are correct, cannot at the last minute command that the AGM be called off or postponed. Whatever grouse there is will have to be addressed in a court of law. And it looks like from the tone and tenor of that letter that this is going to get pretty ugly.
Yeah.